Right, so today's kind of conversation of coaching is going to be really about kind of 5 different tactics to bring back motivation. Just because we're going into, so November, I'm going to be talking all about motivation and energy, just because I know that with the holidays and everything going on at the end of the year, sometimes we slip. And if you're anything like me, you're like, okay, let's wait and get through the holidays, and then January 1st is when I'm going to start. And I want to prep us. I want us to kind of coach you guys through, okay, let's not have to wait until January, number 1. But 2, a lot of the prepping before we even kind of can see success in January, so much of it is mindset and motivation and all these things around energetics. So I want to talk about five different techniques to either increase your motivation to kind of keep sustaining the consistency and sustaining motivation so that you end 2021 really dang strong. Or it's okay, you don't want to be that type of person that waits until January 1st. It's okay, how do I get this going right now without changing anything about what I'm eating or exercising? So we're not going to be concentrating at all for the what are we supposed to be doing to live into our healthiest, most radiant self. We're not focusing on there just because that comes after you master and you really align back into who. Who are you being when you're trying to do those what activities that are so hard for you to achieve and create consistency around? So that's why all of November, I really want to hone in on who are you being. And so let's talk again. Anytime that a client comes to me and they're kind of struggling showing up, we go back to this core foundational training of how to spark and sustain your motivation. So it's the first thing that we talk about in any of my coaching programs is really, I want you to be able to understand, how do you self-motivate yourself? How do you find your own radiance and alignment and energetics to the things that you say are so dang important? So, and there's usually, it totally depends on what your current struggles are at. So go with, if you are struggling to show up, struggling with consistency, just pick one of these. So the first one that I want to talk about is, if you are struggling to show up, if you're kind of haphazard in your weekly activities or the weekly habits that you've been trying to kind of be consistent in, go back to your ultimate vision. Go back to, I think a lot of the times when we start to want to lose weight or want to be the type of person that exercises every single day, we're like, we know we should. I know that society has told me that my body is too big. I know that when I sit down, I feel uncomfortable. I know that when I look at my body, I don't like what I look like. And so I go straight to, okay, dieting and exercise, because I know that's what everybody's told me works. And I get that. But it's also, it's okay. So what is your vision then for your health? What is the ultimate vision? And it's not just about if your answer said to lose weight, it's not, I want a bigger vision for you. I want a bigger vision because it's not just, yes, weight is important. Yes, the way that we feel and look in the mirror and our confidence levels kind of that are derived from that, yes, those are important, but that's not the ultimate vision. I want this to be bigger. I want to know exactly this whole creation of, okay, what is my vision for my health 5 years from now? And really listing that out and being really specific of, why do you want that? What is it going to feel like? And also, who will it impact? So kind of looking at different areas of your life of, when I get this goal, when I kind of really clearly see that vision, how is it going to influence my family? How is it going to influence my relationships, both either romantic or friendships? How is it going to influence my work? How is it going to influence my religious or spiritual relationships? How is it going to influence my relationship with myself? How is it going to influence my relationship with my community? Like really think of, start with yourself and then just kind of keep working outward of, who else is in my community? Who else do I touch? Who else is influenced by me living into my most radiant self? And understand exactly, okay, if you get into your best health, if you eat a certain way all the time, if that's just the natural type of person, you're the person that moves, you're the person that runs, is a runner, how is that going to influence your kids? What amazing things will happen from that? Or your relationships with your husband or with your partner, or at work, how are you going to show up so much better at work? Like really, really create this ultimate vision. First, I want you to really understand, okay, relationships. How is that going to change? And then I want you to go deeper too and ask, what are my finances going to look like? Because there's so much of like looking at your health. Health equals energy. And energy and motivation, that equals us being so much more productive and a higher performer in whatever capacity of work that you like to show up with. And so really understanding that when we fine-tune ourself, our body, the way that we work and perform, and our mental clarity, our energy, our motivations, our self-efficacy and who we are, that's gonna so compound our financial gain in this world. I really do believe that, and I see that with my clients. For instance, one of my clients, she's the president of her company, and she, after working with me, she figured out how to kind of utilize the tactics that we were using for her health and the habit development techniques and kind of the psychological factors behind her own motivation, how to put that also within her own business, and generating referral partners and relationships, and also kind of working smarter and faster within a certain time, because she knew how much better she showed up when she worked out in the morning, when she made kind of good, healthy, high energy meals for her, and it just increased her output at work 10x. And she saw that in her finances and her balance sheet and all that stuff, in her income. And then I also want you to think of, okay, your health, of just feeling so radiant, how will it influence kind of your emotional way that you're approaching life? How will it influence how you respond to stress, to hardship, to fear, to happiness, to joy? A lot of the times when I'm going through this with my clients, they're like, okay, I'm going to reach so much more for joy, and I'm not going to let stress influence me. And so just, again, these are just a couple of prompts. There's so many different types of prompts that we can really get nitty and gritty and detailed on this ultimate vision. But it's just looking at what is this going to look like? What is your life going to look like? And creating a beautiful vision for that, so that when you wake up and you're like, okay, I made a reservation to go to this exercise class, I really don't want to go to it. Having that ultimate vision, you're like, no, the Katy 5 years from now, the me 5 years from now, she's that type of person that makes movement a priority in the morning because she wants to be so attentive and in a good spirits and joyful and less stress with her kids. So that's where it's step one. If you are struggling with your motivation, with showing up, with consistency, go back to, okay, what is the ultimate vision for your health? And make sure that it's not just about weight. That it's not just about your appearance. That it's not just about looking a certain way, because I'm sure that's been with you for years. I'm sure that desire has been with you for years and you're still struggling. So do the deeper work. Go deeper with this one. So number two, the second tactic is really understanding so much of habit development and performance is about our mind. And it really is where focus goes, energy flows, and it's thinking of, okay, what are the limiting beliefs that are stopping me from following through? What are the limiting beliefs that are inhibiting me from creating consistency in the efforts that I put throughout the week? And it's understanding it's coming up with a list of just kind of brainstorming any negative thought that might pop up in your brain within a day, within an hour, within a week, within a month. Just really understanding, okay, what are these kind of unconscious thoughts that might come through every now and then. And then it's kind of being real with that and understanding, okay, these might be unconscious thoughts, but at some level, they're thoughts that I do find to be true. And it might not be true 100% of the time, but if they're coming up consistently enough, they're coming up for a reason. And so it's all about kind of taking those thoughts, understanding that, okay, all right, those are thoughts that are come up. Negativity is all around us. It's okay. Don't blame yourself for having so many or a little bit of these limiting beliefs. And this is a really, really simple tactic, but 99% of you, I'll give 97, let's give you that, won't do this. Won't take the time to kind of list off what are any thoughts that might keep me stuck, stop me from following through, or kind of derail me. List them off. And then what you do is you make them into empowering statements. You make them into, okay, what is the inverse of this? If it's, I never have time to work out, I never have time to make a healthy meal, what's the inverse of that? It's, I can find the time to exercise. I will find the time to exercise. Just kind of flipping the script on that limiting belief of that just puts you in a box. You don't deserve to be in that box. So how do you flip that and creating an empowering belief around it, even if you might not inherently feel like it's true? Again, where focus goes, energy flows. And so the more that you focus on, I make the time for movement, I make the time to create healthy meals, I don't enjoy kind of healthy foods, are gross to me. It's, I find foods that I love for my body. Where focus goes, energy flows. And so the more that we focus there, that's where our energy is going to go to. That's where we're programming our subconscious mind to know to be true. And so it's really dang simple, but it's so simple that not a lot of people do it. Even some of my clients, I've had them do it, and it's hard to do because it seems so simple. But do this one. If you notice programmed thoughts kind of come up, especially around weight, especially around body perception and body confidence, list them out, acknowledge them, and then create an empowering belief around them. All right, so tactic number 3, one of my favorites, and it kind of goes with the ultimate vision, but it's in the morning, it's doing a mental rehearsal of your day, but coming from a place of the you that has achieved all the results that you want, all the health goals that you want. It's, okay, let's envision her. Let's envision, we know her because we did that ultimate vision kind of tactic. We know her. We know how she approaches her day, what she likes to do, what she dresses like we're really creating a clear vision. Bring her in to today. And then go through your day acting as if you are her right now. If you're in your best health, if you are the most confident version of yourself, how would you show up to your to-do list? How would you show up to the meeting that you have? How would you show up with the kids when you have to drop them off at school? Or how would you show up on social media? If someone posts a really just obnoxious post, how would you go on social media? What kind of meals would you be eating? Really go through your day and go through too of just not of saying, okay, how would she show up? But also, how would she show up to the conflicts that come in your day, the stress that comes in, the excuses that could pop up or just kind of derail you from showing up for movement or showing up to getting your water in or showing up to eating a certain way or to going to bed at a certain time. Just really getting clear on how would your best version of yourself, bring her in to today. How would she show up today? And then just act as if you are her now. And just going through, mentally rehearsing. This is a great tactic to kind of get you over habitual resistance to really, really hard things that you're trying to do. And it's just going through, okay, what's going to stop me, slow me down, or get in the way? And how would my best self show up? And then as best as you can, just try to live into alignment with that. And it's not going to be perfect the first time, but you'll get better. And you'll practice and you'll do this and it'll get easier and easier and easier. It's that whole saying of just kind of the more that you do something, the more that you practice, you get so much more comfortable with it. 10x that then and practice in your mind. Mentally rehearse how you want to show up for the day, for a certain meeting, for a certain conversation. And by doing that mental rehearsal, you're already kind of stepping into like you're already doing it. So you're 10xing, I guess how many times you want to run through the mental rehearsal, but you're 10xing your performance already by not even showing up just yet. Number 4 is I want us to go back to energy, and specifically joy. And it's just kind of talking about, okay, if you are struggling with motivation, if you're struggling with consistency, I want to ask you this. Do you have something planned in your day that is going to give you energy, that is going to give you joy, that makes you feel really, really dang good? And if not, add it in. Put something in your schedule that will make you feel like you want to show up that day and you're excited to show up. And it can be something small like, oh, I'm going to take a bath today, or I'm going to listen to music while I get ready for the day. It's just these little things that bring energy into our day, because we know when we have energy, we're going to reach for better foods. We're going to show up for our workout. We're more inclined to do the things that we say that we need to be doing. When we're low energy, that's when we're more likely to go to Netflix after a long day of work instead of moving our body or going for a walk with the dog. That's more likely 100% when we're going to go and default towards low energy foods, those kind of quick pick-me-up foods like pizza or pasta or wine or ice cream. Energy is everything. And so if you're struggling to show up, do you have things planned in your day that's going to give you the energy that you need to show up the best that you can? And if not, all you have to do is find a little 2 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour of your day and plan something that will give you energy. Another kind of tactic around this too is just it's a different mindset shift around energy and the already your to-do activities, already the meetings that you have. What we want to do to bring energy to the things that might drain you is ask, how do I bring joy into this event? I know that it's so simple, and it's almost too simple that you can just laugh it off. But truly, every item on your calendar, there's a reason for it to be there. Whether or not that's something that you kind of already signed up to do, or if it's work, so it's an obligation, so you don't totally feel energized from it, you show up the way, like you have control of how you show up. And it's just being really intentional of, okay, I have this meeting at 10:30. How am I bringing joy to that meeting? What is the mindset that I need to go into that meeting to bring joy? All right, I have to drop the kids off at soccer camp and then basketball camp and then this, and I'm going to be, my day's going to be all over the place. How do you bring joy into it? Just that simple technique of just, if you have a planner and you have everything out, if it says, okay, drop kid off at soccer practice, then have a little mark there and say, okay, what are you going to do during that time to bring joy? Is it having a really silly conversation with your kid while you go there? Connecting with your kid, being really intentional about that? Or is it listening to a podcast that you really like to listen to that you don't have the time to? And now if you're going to be in the car, you get to do that. Like these little tiny things that we can do, of just asking, okay, what would bring me joy in that moment if I know that it's going to suck my energy? How do I kind of resist that energy suck? By bringing joy into it. Right, and the last tactic that I have is, so number 5 is giving your goals attention every single day. So there's a really great quote by Brendon Burchard. It's basically, it's not that we lose motivation. That's not kind of the downfall of habit development or goal setting or goal achievement. It's that we're inattentive to our goals. That's where we derail. That's where we kind of self-sabotage ourselves. That's when we don't see consistency. So I'm going to ask you, are you giving your goals for your health attention every single day? Are you looking at your goals every single day? Are you looking at your vision for your goals every single day? Do you have things in your environment that remind you of who you're trying to become? Because this is hard work. Transforming not only your body composition, but also kind of the mindset around your self-confidence, who you are, your habits. It's hard work. It's not easy. I promise you, it's not easy. And it takes so much longer than we think it is. We've seen and we've kind of been led to expect that 60 days of me just kind of eating like this and exercising really, really hard, it's going to give me those results. It might. If you're in that kind of small percentage, it might. But it's not lasting. 98% of people who lose weight gain it right back. We don't want to be in that camp. We want to be in the 2% of people that lose it and keep it off. And we want to know what they're doing. And what they are doing is they're doing the mindset work to change who they are. And they're doing the things to give they're being attentive towards their goal every single day. And they're asking themselves, how do I become 1% better? And 1% better is either, okay, I'm going to push myself, to challenge myself, to do a little bit more, reach a little bit harder, lift a little bit heavier. And it's also saying, mindset-wise, maybe I need to, like today, is it knowing myself more of I need to rest today? Is it knowing, okay, there's mental clutter that's going on that I need to work on instead of just pushing and grinding and go, go, go. It's understanding 1% better and giving yourself attention to those goals is understanding, am I in alignment with who I'm trying to become? And noticing when you're out of alignment too. So those are my 5 tips. Of it just kind of, if I was struggling with motivation, which I do every single day, it's a constant growth, and I hope it's hard for you. Because I hope it's hard because when you're growing, you're reaching for more, you're trying to be, and there's truly a thing called growing pains. That's okay. But there's a difference between I want this to be challenging and hard because it's kind of increasing your self-efficacy, but I don't want it to lead to burnout. I don't want it to be hard where you're just kind of running into a wall and you're feeling so self-defeated. If it's that kind of hard, something's off. You're out of alignment. Something needs to change. And if that's the camp that you're in, let's talk. It's okay. We can figure this out because it should be effortlessly, excitingly hard, if that makes sense. Because I want you to be challenging yourself. I want you to be growing because if you're not growing, you're dying. But I don't want you to be hitting a wall either. So try out one of these techniques. Let me know how it goes. And go all in, guys. All right, so in addition, if this is a coaching technique that you enjoyed, this is what our small group coaching, our Total Transformation Accelerator is all about. It's about doing the what, so kind of understanding what types of food work best for your specific body type. How do we create habits around that? What are techniques that aren't totally around food, but will help you lose weight by just kind of focusing on who you are being around food? But then there's so much of the mindset aspect too, of really kind of going through these meditations, going through these journaling prompts, going through these visualizations to really understand how do you become the person that you want to become. So if this is something of interest of yours, or if you just kind of want to have a one-on-one breakthrough session with me, click the link below. I am currently enrolling for my Total Transformation Accelerator small group coaching. So if you want to be surrounded by like-minded women who are reaching for the same goal, who are encouraging each other every single day to live into their most radiant, best version, most confident version of themselves, let's talk. All right, schedule a link below.